Okay, so welcome to this channel, which is Liftosopher, and a place where light and darkness are into different things. They are the same things. We mirror them here. We don't run away from our demons. We face them. We don't escape from them. We face the reality head on. So in this video, I'm gonna discuss about. There's a personal story about me that I'm gonna discuss, and with that, after that, I'm gonna tell you that yeah, you have seen the title of this video, and I guess you know what we're gonna talk about. So let's begin with my personal story first. So what happened happens when people like you and me, if you're watching this video, I am assuming you are a sort of a polymathic person who loves to study, who loves to understand various things, and who loves to uh, I would say understand this world, understand this universe. I think you are one of them. That's why you are here, and me too. And I was one of those guys who felt like, okay, why I'm so different, why I don't fit in this whole society, whole this structure of uh, this whole ecosystem. Why don't I fit in this? I was too much concerned about that. And as I realized, I had worked very hard in my life, and I used to work too much. With that, I achieved most of the things of my life in very early ages of my life. And with that, somehow with intellect there comes, that is the thing, saying of this, I don't remember the name correctly, but this is this saying. Somehow words may be different, but there is this saying like this: without darkness there's no light. And as Carl Jung said, without letting the unconscious become conscious, you can't escape it. So those are the things. So that happened with me also, and they might happen with you also. They might be happening with you. So let's begin with my personal story. So what was my personal story? My personal story was wholly concerned with that. So what happens? It was a time, I would say, remember 2 years back, when I was preparing for some exam of my life. I will discuss after this in some personal video where I will tell you what I am, what I do. So I was preparing for this exam, and I was too much concerned about the stress and all. मेरे को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं कैसे ये सारी चीज़ें हैंडल करूँ. Then I somehow, I don't know how I jumped to these philosophy ideas of philosophy and all. And the first philosopher, or the first, I call him man. He's a guy I met in his books. That is Friedrich Nietzsche. And that guy completely changed my overview of thinking, and it completely revanished me into thinking ke, how does it can happen, how does it these things are working. And I was like, oh, this is completely false, this is complete. I started questioning everything. When I started questioning everything, I was, मेरे अंदर एक डर था कि मैं गलत तो नहीं कर रहा. Then I slowly realized, no, I'm not doing wrong. And somehow I reached that point where things became, oh, you are not wrong, you are doing it right way also. Because I used to be like that, but when you get the validation from someone who is well respected, he's a great philosopher. If you ever met any polymathic person, or an intellectual, or a rationalist, they will tell you that Friedrich Nietzsche have an impact on their life. That's what I think. And with this story, what happens, we move to next part. And as I felt everything, and I started losing, when I became everything, then I started losing interest in most of the things of my life. And I was like, I was chasing wisdom, I was learning about things, I was reading every philosopher, Franz Kafka, Albert Camus, and whatever I don't even remember the name. I was too much into Osho, I was here too much into Krishnamurti, and I was trying to understand geopolitics and everything. So there came a point, I was a science student, I have studied science very deeply, there was a passion in me, and today there is also a passion in me, that I love that. I love rationality, I love mathematics. So when I came in these things, and I was like, यार ये हो क्या रहा है मेरे साथ. बाहर के लोगों को तो घूमने में मज़ा आ रहा है, मेरे को घूमने में मज़ा क्यों नहीं आ रहा. मेरे को किसी के साथ बैठने में मज़ा क्यों नहीं आ रहा. मेरे को कुछ खाने में मज़ा क्यों नहीं आ रहा. मेरे को एक अंदर से वो फीलिंग कैसे आ रही है कि मैं कुछ एकदम से कुछ ऐसा पढ़ रहा हूँ, और फिर मेरे को उस चीज़ से मीनिंग मिल रहा है. मैं कुछ क्रिएट कर रहा हूँ तो मेरे को एक मीनिंग मिल रहा है. एंड आई वॉज लाइक कि मैं इतना डिफरेंट क्यों हूँ. मेरे फ्रेंड्स नहीं रहे, मेरे को बहुत सारा क्रिटिसिज्म मिला उस वजह से कि ये तो साला पूरे दिन अपने कमरे में रहता है, ये तो अपने रूम के बाहर नहीं आता। आई वॉज लाइक कि ठीक है, मेरे को फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा था क्योंकि मैं उतना इंटेलेक्चुअली इवॉल्व होता जा रहा था। एंड most of the philosophers you will read and everyone and most of the religions, whether it's Hinduism, whether it's Islam, or for that sake any religion, there's a one common point in them that they teach you to be alone. They tell you one thing, that you are in this world alone and you will go from this world all alone. And you have, don't know about holy or Islam it is discussed in that religion or not, but I think in Hinduism it is the core concept that you have to explore yourself. You have to explore who are you, who am I. That's a basic question of whole this realm of knowing your own self. And I was like, yeah, what is this happening? And this was too much overwhelmed on me. And I was like, yeah, I'm so different. And that there came a point in my life where I knew that there was a time, oh sorry, I would say there was a time I was confused about things. Okay, I am wrong. Then there came a point where I realized, no, I'm not wrong, because every person who has done something for this humanity and thought different from this whole herd mentality and crowd mentality, they have been criticized and hated for that. And I was like, yeah, पहले सबके साथ हुआ तो तेरे साथ भी होगा. And I became comfortable with this fact. But after that I thought, okay, now I have to. I was getting kicked from what? I was getting kicked from hustling. I was getting kicked from building something for this humanity. मैं खुद को भूल चुका था. अब मेरे को अपने बाल कटाने से फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता था, मेरे को अपनी कुछ करने से फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता था. बस फिर मेरे को एक चीज़ रियलाइज़ हुई, ऐसे नहीं होगा, तो मैं जिम जाना स्टार्ट कर दिया, क्योंकि बॉडी, इफ़ योर बॉडी इज़ नॉट फाइन, दिस थिंग विल नॉट वर्क नाइसली. सो एज आई रियलाइज के या यू नीड टू गो टू जिम एंड ऑल, आई स्टार्टेड गोइंग टू जिम. And from there I became mentally tough. I was not too much into this fitness and all, and I was not too much strong guy also. I became strong. My testosterone levels went up and I was ready for risks. अब मेरे को मज़ा ही नहीं आ रहा था. I was always looking for adventures, कि रात में 2 बजे निकल जा रहे हैं अपनी बाइक लेके, और I was looking for those adventures. एंड समहाउ आई वॉज लाइक कि भाई उससे मेरे को वो किक मिलने लगा. फिर ये जो छोटी चीज़ें थी ना, कि यहाँ बैठना, उसके साथ जाना, वो सब छूट गया. मैंने छोड़ा नहीं कुछ भी. मेरे दोस्त यार सब मैंने छोड़े नहीं, वो सब छूट गए. इट वेंट अवे. आई डिडंट हैव टू प्रैक्टिस डिसिप्लिन. आजकल की बहुत लोग बात करते हैं ना कि डिसिप्लिन, मोटिवेशन, कुछ नहीं करा मैंने, सब छूट गया अपने आप. मेरा मन ही नहीं होता था करने. देयर वाज अ पॉइंट वेयर आई इवन लॉस्ट इंटरेस्ट इन माई. I was like, what is the meaning? What is this we all are doing? And after that, I worked very hard. I achieved few things in my life. I'm not saying I have achieved all. No, that's a big procedure. But there was no ego in me. And today also, there's no ego in me. I am recording this video just for the sake of people. मेरे को, जब मैं उस कमरे में अकेला लड़का था, मेरे को पता था कि मेरे जैसा कोई नहीं है. मेरे को लगता था कि आई एम सो अलोन, आई एम सो डिफरेंट. तो मैं ये वीडियो, दिस यूट्यूब चैनल इज़ होल अबाउट कि मैं वो कम्युनिटी बिल्ड कर पाऊँ जो हम मेरे जैसे लोग हैं, या हम इंटेलेक्चुअल्स लोग हैं, जिनको हम सोसाइटी मॉक करती है, क्रिटिसाइज़ करती है, जस्ट बीइंग डिफरेंट एंड बीइंग जस्ट बिकॉज वी थिंक डिफरेंट एंड वी थिंक इन अ राइट वेज एंड वी थिंक लॉजिकली. हमें उसके लिए सोसाइटी मॉक करती है. सो वी नीड टू कम ओवर हियर एंड आई थिंक वी शुड build a community of that. That's why this whole YouTube channel or all the work on this channel is gonna be in that direction only, कि हम उस चीज़ को build कर पाएँ और हम लोग उसमें एक we should create something for this humanity. हम अपनी ego को भूल जाएँ कि हम उस चीज़ से ख़त्म हो चुके हैं. I'll tell you what happens in this whole phase of existential void, existential guilt, existential anxiety. It's very complex. So I want you to put your earplugs in and sit over here. We're gonna discuss how it begins, what happens during this, how to tackle this out, and what is at the last. I'll tell you, this is blessing in disguise. You are lucky if you felt existential depression, existential anxiety, if you were mocked, if you were feeling that you are different. I'll tell you that this was the best thing that happened in your life. Okay, so let's begin this video. I'm Liftosopher and you're watching Liftosopher. What is existential void? I'm gonna explain this segment with the two things, and I'll be cooking them together and just making you taste what is existential void. I'll be taking the ideas of different philosophers, what they thought about existential void, and my own story, how I felt. I'll mix it up, I'll cook it up for you, and I'll make you taste it, I'll serve it for you. So, let's begin with this. When you start questioning life to the point, when you start questioning everything around you to the point where you have understood it's all just not you, it's not you, your thoughts are not you, your emotions even are not you, because they are just your emotions are the biological manifestations of your evolutionary instincts. When you realize this, that your emotions are the evolutionary instincts to make you survive and thrive in this world, you realize you just drop to the point. You are like, what is this? You are just completely shocked. When you study different things, when you have a polymathic understanding, you realize you reach to the point where you question everything. You don't want to get up from your bed. You feel like, what is this meaning on all? And you see the, I would say, you see the all the manipulation tactics of your own self and of this other world. Like खुद का झूठ और दूसरों का झूठ जिस दिन तुम्हें दिख जाता है, और इस दुनिया का झूठ कि ये कितना बड़ा एक सर्वाइवल इंस्टिंक्ट पे बना हुआ एक झूठ है, उस दिन यू आर लाइक, योर मीनिंग कोलैप्सेस, यू कोलैप्स, योर आइडेंटिटी कोलैप्स. Whatever you used to think about your own self, that collapses. Whatever this world tells you, whatever your religion tells you, everything collapses. Whatever your teachers have told you, everything collapses, because you see this world in a very realized form, without any illusion, without any mirror in front of you. When it's out, you just see the what is in front of you as it is, and that is horrifying. That is where you become horrified by this reality, and that is the beginning of existential void. And when this void happens, you lose interest in most of the things you used to love. And there is this शेर by this शायर John Elias साहब, he said that ये अजियत बड़ी अजियत है, ये अजियत बड़ी अजियत है, ख्वाहिशें दिल का साथ छोड़ गई. तो what he meant by this, he was a poet, but he also have realized this. Most of the artists, most of the entrepreneurs, most of the people who think deeply and who are wired differently, they reach to this point where they see the meaninglessness of this world and all the lies of this world and all the illusions of this world. So that happens, and when you realize this is the existential void, I'm here, you are like, what should I do now? Every meaning that I believe in collapse. You started to see that the fakeness of love around you, fakeness of the love that people give you, and you start to see, yeah, and when that happens, you are completely blank. That is existential void. And here Nietzsche, what Nietzsche said this too, that is God is dead. He didn't mean that the omniscient and that form of God is dead. What he meant is meaning, collapse of meaning that happens in a life of every guy or every girl or whatever it is, every human being who thinks too deeply, that the God is dead. Your meaning collapses. And same thing Franz Kafka wrote in this book called Trial. If you read this, I would suggest read Trial. You will understand too many things. Like it's like he sees life like this, a trial room where you are convicted for a crime you haven't committed. Now you are running from lawyers to lawyers, court to courts, just to see what can be done with this, and you don't know what is your crime, and everybody is just, nobody is you are seeing everyone running here and there, nobody knows what's the crime, and they are just, that he mentioned, this is existential guilt, existential anxiety. And this is how, what is the scientific and biological angle to this, what happens at the level of your biology and your body science, what happens when you are in this mode of existential crisis, your meaning have collapsed. Now what happens with you in this phase? Now what you realize is that everything have collapsed, and your brain thinks now it's very hard to survive. So it shift its focus from your this prefrontal cortex to your limbic system, and when this system shifts, that is your limbic system. When this limbic system takes a control, you have lost your ability to focus, you have lost your ability to sit quietly, you are in hurry. You are in like uh, this is sort of a manifestation of ADHD also. And when this happens with you are attention deficient, and you can't focus on anything, you are completely, you go into this pleasure and all those things. And there was this book called No Longer Human by Osamu, if I remember his name rightly. And in this book he described that he sees all the illusion, and something that happens in his life is he's completely shattered. His ability to connect with other people fades away. There's a woman in this book, he mentions she loves him too much, but he doesn't find any attachment, any connection, any real connection to her. And this is very depressing to the point where you are like, what should I do? And so this is the existential void. I have not scripted this, that's why it's very random. Whatever is coming in my mind, I'm just telling you. It's a sort of storytelling thing. I'll make detailed videos, and I'll make the videos that will be very systematic also, but this video is all about, mostly I want to express the different ideas and what is this existential void and what are the basic things that you can do to get out of it. We'll create whole series and all those things about this. You might think that this has happened with me, but now it's a blessing in disguise. Let me tell you that also. I'll explain that blessing in disguise in later parts of this video. But first of all, let's navigate this void together. Let's walk it together, because I've been also figuring out these things. I'm not a master of anything. We are just figuring out it together. So how do you figure it out now? First of all, we'll have to reframe this void. Okay, there's a 4-step process that I have created. Okay, although this is a whole simple thing, but I have divided it into 4 steps. So first is this is reframing of this void. How do you reframe this void? Now you might think, okay, reframing means you might be seeing it in a very pessimistic form, in a very negative terminologies. Now you have to move it to a positive side, because there is a positive side of this. How? When Nietzsche bring this concept of Ubermensch or a Superman, that is where he said that, okay, now you realize God is dead. Now nothing matters. Now it's all on you. You have your whole responsibility of yourself, your loved ones. Now what you do with this freedom? When this Jean-Paul Sartre said, you're condemned to be free. My friend, you're condemned to be free. Now what you do with this? You can see this freedom in a negative way, and you can see this freedom in a positive way. Now you're free to create something. Now you're free to do something for this humanity. Now you have to dissolve your ego, because you doesn't matter in this whole eternity realm of time. You mean no one matters. Now we have to do something for the humanity, to pass this baton to the next generations, to bring something to this humanity, to create something for this humanity, to think, to elaborate, to create products, to create something like which can make this world a better place. That's what I think. Okay, so this is how you reframe this void, where this Nietzsche's Ubermensch concept come, and Carl Jung said that you can't reach light without reaching to your darkness. That's a simple thing. Carl Jung is pointing to point that, okay, now I realize this is a void. Now I will feel it. I will just not run away from this, and I will try to reframe this out. बाहर थोड़ी आवाज आ रही होगी. There will be some voices coming out from outside. Right now I'm in my home, and I have to record this out, because I didn't want it to make it scripted. It was coming deeply from inside of me. That's why I'm recording it over here. I'm not in my studio also. I'm recording it here without a mic also, because right now I thought I might write a script, I might have a mic in my studio, but this feeling that I'm trying to convey to you with these emotions, this won't come after that. So that's why I'm recording. Please don't mind that, and I hope you don't mind that. So let's begin now. To this. When you realize this, you have reevaluated this void, and you have described it. You have seen the positive side of this void also. So now, how do you create the meaning? What do you mean by this meaning? What is this meaning to giving to this life and all? Okay, so now you create your own meaning. You don't subscribe to some ideologies, some societal pressures. You do something that you think you can contribute to this society. Okay, as for me, there are things that I might be thinking that I can contribute to this society intellectually. I can think for the society. I can think in a different ways. That's my power that is given by universe to me, and I am the part of this universe, and I am giving back to this universe. Okay, so this is what you have to do. You have to think about, sit with your own self in a closed room and think what you can contribute to the society with the sense of compassion and empathy to the humanity. And the suffering is, that is what Kierkegaard said. No, sorry, not Kierkegaard. I think it's Schopenhauer said that this should be a compassion for all human beings around you, because they are also suffering in their own ways. They might not be suffering intellectually, but they are suffering in their own ways. Now, when you have a compassion for that suffering, you want to create something for this humanity. And when you want to create something for this humanity, you don't need motivation, you don't need motivational videos, and your ego dissolves. You are just creating for this humanity. When you see these huge figures like Elon Musk, he's a multi-billionaire. He's expected to be a trillionaire, I guess the first human being on this planet. But what he does, he works hard, yet also you have seen his interviews and you have seen his condition. He worked too much. Why? Because it comes from here. You have seen that existential void. He know that he can do something for the society, that because he doesn't consider himself a different part of this universe. He considers himself as a part of this universe. I am the part of the universe, and I'll be doing something like it's my body. See this as universe is a body, and you are its lungs. Now it's your duty to do the gaseous exchange. It's your duty for that. Now you take that as where this ego dissolves and you think you are the part of this universe, and that gives you a piece of calm. You can see that calm on my face right now. When you see this meaning and there's a calm on your face, well, like, yeah, you don't feel that existential loneliness. You don't feel like that. You have a compassion for the human beings around you, and you're like, yeah, I also have suffering. They also have suffering. Let's do something for each other and make this world a better place. And that's when your existential void tried to disappear. Now you know that we are just for a very short span of time, conscious for the very short span of time in this universe, and let's do something for this humanity. When that comes from here, it's I can't explain that feeling. That is so much peaceful feeling. No pleasure, no amount of sex, no amount of drugs, no amount of any type of things can give you that. It's my own personal experience. I'm tired of all those pleasurable things. I've done every shit to a point where I was completely bored of those things. I've done to the point where people tell you, I've done to the point where I felt like this is the limit. But now that peace, that I don't have to motivate myself, I'm just motivated from inside to do something for this humanity, and it feels very great. I'm not saying every human being should think like me, but all the I would say not all. Let me put it in right words. I would say the human beings who thinks in that way should look life in this way. Also, even after creating this meaning, you might feel some sort of meaninglessness in you. And how do you tackle that meaninglessness? That is very simple. It's approach that Krishnamurti, Jiddu Krishnamurti gave us all. And that was what? It was just simply feeling the void, knowing the void, and seeing it as it is, being that courageous human being, creation of this universe, to see the meaninglessness, the void, and feel the trembling, pacing of your body, changes in your body, mind, and just sitting with this. That courage will free you from this void to the point where it will be done and dusted. I'm not saying this video can completely solve this out, but it's just my experience that I wanted to share. Now, on the ending notes of this video, I would like to tell you that this existential void or existential suffering was blessing in disguise, and here I will tell you the dark gift of this existential void. So let's go. Now you understand every illusion. Now you see everything, that this thought is not mine. This is coming because of this evolutionary instinct, and this is coming because of this social narrative. This is coming because of this geopolitical angle. Now, when you have understood this world to a point where your ego dissolves, where you realize your ego doesn't exist. It's just these illusions of this world that were telling you to continuously do. Now you have stopped and you have thought for your own self. As Nietzsche said, there are three transformations. First you are a camel, then you become a lion, then you become child again. Now you have become a child again. Now it's your time to create something, to create for this humanity. Now you have seen every illusion. Now you have become fearless because you know your existence doesn't matter. You don't matter. Your thoughts are not yours. You are a pure consciousness. Your thoughts are not you. Your fears are not you. You are pure consciousness. You have seen this with your blunt third eye. That is your brain. Okay, so on this note, I would love to conclude this video. If you think you align with these ideas and all, this channel is gonna be full of these things, and we are building a community of thinkers here. So I would love if you could subscribe to this channel and share it among your friends so that we can grow it out and we can increase more intensity of more videos on this channel. And I have written something that I would love to read it out for you guys. The dark side of philosophy isn't a theory, it is an initiation. It takes everything you thought you know, your faith, your purpose, your peace, and it burns it down, only awareness remains. Most people don't return from that fire, but those who do, they stop asking for meaning, they become it. Yeah, so this was me, Liftosopher. I would love to end this video now. I hope you rebel, you fight against the mediocre mind, mediocre thinking. This is me, Liftosopher, signing off.